Hello everyone, and welcome to the live broadcast of the 2022 Advanced Animal Nutrition Showcase. I'm so excited that you guys are joining us, and I'm really excited to present some of my peers' work and the newest ideas in animal nutrition.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Connor McCorkle.
And my name is Lola Young.
And we are master's students in the Department of Animal Biosciences. And today we are here to present to you our business plan for Equine Metabolomics Group. What we are looking to do is provide horse owners and veterinary professionals the ability to detect laminitis in horses before clinical signs are present. Like we mentioned, we are two master's students. I am studying canine and equine nutrition.
And I am studying equine physiology.
So what is equine laminitis? Well, equine laminitis is a debilitating disease where the epidermal laminae, which connect the hoof wall to the distal phalanx, also known as the coffin bone, fail and disconnect from each other. This failure, combined with the extensive forces from the weight of the horse, usually will result in the coffin bone becoming displaced within the hoof, and this is a very painful condition, which usually will warrant euthanasia if it is caught too late. While the pathogenesis of laminitis is often debated, it is often associated secondary to hormonal imbalances, such as pituitary pars intermedia dysfunction, also known as Cushing's disease, insulin dysregulation, obesity, and metabolic syndrome. Additionally, it has been shown that when a horse consumes a pasture or high-starch concentrate, which is high in non-structural carbohydrates, endocrinopathic laminitis may occur. Diagnosis of equine laminitis is currently based on what the clinical signs are showing, and this can include, but is not limited to, varying amounts of lameness, the horse having a strong digital pulse, their history of laminitis or other metabolic diseases, and most commonly, radiographs are taken to determine if the distal phalanx has begun to rotate within the hoof. Prevention and management include multimodal approach of cryotherapy, also known as cold treatment, pain relief, anti-inflammatories, stall rest with soft bedding, frog support, and deep digital flexure tenotomy to realign the third phalanx. What we see here are two radiographs. The one on the left is a contrast venogram, and that is performed on a horse that has laminitis, and we can see a significant rotation of the third phalanx. You can also notice the lack of contrast dye along the dorsal surface of the third phalanx. So the back of the part of the hoof towards the heel is showing beautiful contrast, but the front has very limited, and that's just displaying that there's really a detachment of the laminae and reduced blood flow there. We can also see on the right in the radiograph a good presentation for a horse. There's no rotation of the coffin bone on the left, and on the right we see rotation of the coffin bone.
Aside from evaluating for clinical signs, diagnostic tests can also be used to evaluate blood parameters. However, these tests are sometimes lengthy, expensive, and currently impractical for horse owners to perform themselves. These tests are typically done within a research setting, and we wanted to bring it to the consumer. Luckily, new research has shown that the analysis of a horse's blood may predict the occurrence of laminitis well before we see these clinical signs. This is seen through two recently published studies. In a study by Mayer and colleagues 2017, an oral glucose test was used to predict laminitis risk in ponies who had a diet high in non-structural carbohydrates. They suggested that the ponies had higher blood glucose and insulin during the oral glucose challenge developed laminitis more frequently. This indicates that the horse's responsiveness to both glucose and insulin could be used as a tool for early diagnosis of laminitis. As well, studies in metabolomics discovered circulating levels of glutamic acid, hexoses, and alanine all had positive associations with eventual laminitis. What's cool about this research is that an oral glucose challenge did not need to be performed. so this greatly improves the ease of using this blood analysis method to predict eventual laminitis. Currently, there's vast literature determining associations between serum insulin and glucose concentrations and laminitis risk in both horses and ponies. These studies go as far as establishing thresholds for laminitis development. Preliminary research has also suggested that insulin dysregulation and laminitis risk are associated with alterations in glycerophospholipids and glucose metabolism. Studies have concluded that significant changes in the concentration of 6 glycerophospholipids and a global enrichment of the glucose-alanine cycle, shown here on the slide, were found to characterize the response of prelaminitic ponies. Of special interest in this area of research are glycerophospholipids and their role in inflammatory processes and endocrinopathic disorders, which are currently being investigated. So our platform will use metabolomics to predict equine laminitis. Metabolomics is defined as the comprehensive analysis of metabolites in a biological specimen, and it is an emerging technology that holds promise to inform the practice of precision medicine. Metabolomic kits can detect up to 188 different metabolites that can be associated with changes in energy metabolism, amino acid metabolism, pro-inflammatory signaling, dysregulation of insulin and lipid metabolism, obesity-related disorders, insulin resistance, and also mitochondrial dysfunction.
Our company will make use of this past research in blood analytics to empower both horse owners and veterinarians under one corporation with 2 suites based on each avenue. Here we have the Equine suite. We have the consumer version and the DVM version. For the consumer version, this is an at-home kit for horse owners, and it allows easy collection of blood samples using our proprietary minimally invasive method we have developed. They will then return the sample to our Equine headquarters for analysis, and the horse owner will provide information on the app directly to us. For the veterinary side, veterinarians can purchase a handheld blood analyzer for real-time in-the-field laminitis risk assessment, and they can also connect with their clients and share this information virtually. In the Equilam consumer version, horse owners will receive a lancet, alcohol swab, microcapillary tube, microcentrifuge tube, as well as prepaid shipping so that they can send the blood sample back to our laboratory. Now, let's watch a video on how easy it is to collect blood from your horse at home.
Once blood has been analyzed in our laboratory, horse owners will see these easy-to-read results in our mobile app. It displays the risk of laminitis and evaluation of blood parameters associated with laminitis, along with steps the owner or vet can take to alleviate this risk. This includes soaking hay, lowering non-structural carbohydrates, feeding one of our specialty diets, etc., all of which will be specifically targeted and individualized to each horse.
For our Equilam DVM version, this will allow a veterinarian to draw blood and place a few droplets onto the blood analyzer directly in the field. As they are able to run this blood almost instantaneous, they will be able to detect if laminitis risk is occurring and provide this information to the horse owner. The Equilam DVM version will also connect to our online platform, which will allow seamless information sharing between clients and veterinarians. For both versions, results will be sent to the iPhone or Android app that the client has. As we have mentioned earlier, this will also come with an easy-to-understand breakdown of the blood test and how laminitis risk can be reduced. Our long-term planning includes displaying other health concerns discovered from the blood test and bringing Equilam Consumer to other companion animal industries.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation today, and if you have any further inquiries or questions, please feel free to reach out to us in the email on this slide.
Equinsight, bringing you insight on your horse.
My name is Madeline.
And I am Kaylin. We are both animal biosciences grad students at the University of Guelph. Our business pitch is Equiplan, a one-stop for all your equine nutrition needs.
The problem we are looking to provide a solution to is the poor nutrition seen in the equine industry. Many horse owners have a poor understanding of nutrition and oftentimes will make decisions based on folklore or this is how it's always been done mentality. Many trainers, barn owners, or even other boarders might even suggest improper nutrition advice. Nutrition issues are also a growing concern. There is an increasing prevalence of nutritional diseases such as obesity, laminitis, and equine metabolic syndrome. That being said, there needs to be a simple solution to educate horse owners on how to improve the nutrition plans for their horse with the option to be in contact with an educated nutritionist.
We have identified 3 underlying causes to this issue that our solution must address. First is the lack of basic knowledge, then a lack of awareness, and finally a difficulty with scheduling. Owners must be able to acknowledge when their horse has poor nutrition or when they require a change. They must understand how to make and track these changes. Realize where the weak points of their horse's diet is, for example, high non-structural carbs, a mineral deficiency, or too much digestible energy. They must understand any metabolic disorders the horse may have or may be susceptible to, and owners need to remember when the gradual diet changes can be made. They need to remember to communicate these changes to the barn staff, trainer, or any other personnel involved.
Our solution is an app that assists with diet recommendations, education, and planning, as well as putting horse owners in easy contact with a nutritionist in their area. This app will be available as a cell phone app catered to horse owners, barn owners, and trainers. The main feature is to offer personalized equine nutrition advice. With payment, it'll likely be a monthly subscription with the option of a year subscription at a lower rate.
The Equiplan app addresses a lack of knowledge through providing step-by-step resources and lessons. There will be a body condition score determination that instead of just showing an overwhelming chart to owners, it will allow the owner to choose one option at a time. The hay analysis lesson will provide owners the science background on why hay analysis is important, then give them an easy contact through the app with a nutritionist, or give them instruction on collecting their own analysis. Lastly, if they do not opt for either of these options, it will visually let them match what kind of hay they have, so the app can use an approximate analysis for diet recommendations. Other lessons will include information on various feedstuffs such as complete feeds, hay cubes, ration balances, and others. The app will also schedule diet changes to be made every 10 days, and a reminder will be sent to the owner as well as an option to send the reminder to barn staff.
Other additional features of the Equiplan app are automated diet recommendations based on inputted information, optional consults with an equine nutritionist for an additional fee, a collaborative calendar that has scheduled diet changes and can send reminders via cell phone notifications to those involved in the horse feeding, an option to link the app with others to create a shared community board. This will allow sharing of nutritional progress updates as well as new knowledge.
Now we will do a walkthrough of the app. This is an example login screen, and the next series of slides will show you what the app would look like to a client.
This is the horse information section. So this is where owners will input information about their horse, such as the horse's name, age, body condition score, exercise level, and what feeds and supplements they are currently being fed. The brain icon beside the forage and body condition score bars are links to the educational lessons on how to properly body condition score and how to go about getting a hay analysis done. The app will also maintain a database of popular feeds and the guaranteed analysis as well to make it easy for the owners who are inputting the diet information.
This is an example of the body condition score lesson. Instead of just providing owners with an overwhelming chart, the app will take them through each decision one step at a time. Then, depending on which number they choose for each decision, it will provide them with an average body condition score. Reference pictures for each part will also be added so the owner can visually confirm that their horse matches that description. This will ideally provide more accurate results when owners do their own body condition score analysis. In this example, it is the various rib options from the 9-point body condition score scale.
In this next section, there will be steps outlining how owners can submit hay samples to the lab for analysis. There will be the option for a step-by-step walkthrough on collecting their own analysis and submitting it to SGS Laboratories in Guelph, as well as the option to have an Equiplan nutritionist come to your farm to perform the hay analysis. Additionally, if owners are not able to submit a sample for analysis, there will be examples of different hays such as Timothy, Orchard, as well as others to help owners determine what kind of hay they are currently feeding to their horse. This will be a similar step-wise choice pathway to the body condition scoring system so they can narrow down what type of hay they may have.
Once all the horse's information has been submitted, we will recommend a diet plan for the user's horse. Each bar represents if the horse is getting enough of that specific nutrient. If red appears, it would indicate overfeeding or underfeeding of a specific nutrient in the diet. We will provide recommendations on how this problem can be fixed so the horse can get the best nutrition possible. The recommendations will be based on a database of the NRC 2007 nutrient recommendations, as well as more recent literature with updated nutrient recommendations as the NRC is becoming outdated.
Lastly, owners will have access to an interactive calendar that can be shared with other people involved in their horse's care. The calendar will be linked with the nutrition tracker and alert the user when certain actions are required, such as a diet change. This is beneficial as when changing a diet, the changes should be made gradually, which can be tough for owners to remember, as well as communicate to barn staff. Therefore, by having the app remind not only the owner, but any other personnel who may be involved with feeding the horse, it can ensure everyone is on the same page. There is also potential for this app to be expanded to include reminders for farrier visits, veterinary care, as well as other potential reminders.
So the end goal is for the Equiplan app to allow for effective maintenance of horse body condition through recommended feedings that have been curated by experts in their field. Horse owners having access to this resource will give owners a comprehensive tool to assist in all nutrition decisions and promote their horse's welfare.
If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out.
Introducing Gene Meal Plus, decoding one-size-fits-all nutrition. Our team consists of 3 master's students specializing in the Department of Animal Biosciences at the University of Guelph. I'm Joanna.
I'm Michaela. And I'm Isabel, and today we're going to be introducing our business idea of Gene Meal Plus.
The pet industry is a $120 billion industry as of 2020. The pet food industry is one of the most significant parts of the pet industry. Pet owners are more aware of the impact that pet foods have on their pet's health. 61% of U.S. pet owners are willing to pay for foods that target their pet's dietary needs.
Every animal caretaker knows that each animal is a unique individual, and we believe that there's an opportunity to treat their nutrition as such. Nutrigenetics, a field which studies how genetic differences may impact nutritional or metabolic pathways, could present scientific findings to be able to accomplish this. So gene differences such as polymorphic variations and mutations in an individual may alter their response or utilization of a nutrient. The most common type of variation occurs at a single nucleotide, and these single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs, can result in a unique response to the same diet compared to that of a different individual of the same species. In addition, gene mutations can play a causative role in over 30 common canine diseases. So it's really important to proactively consider how nutritional management can complement an individual's genetic makeup. Our proposed business combines the nutrigenetic field with nutrition consulting services. Using the knowledge of gene variations which may affect metabolism and nutrition, the individual animal's DNA is screened for these known polymorphisms, identifying where the animal might need supportive nutritional recommendations. An example application of this business is genome screening of breeding animals. So methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase is a gene which is involved in folate metabolism, and a polymorphism at this gene can increase folate-dependent thymidine biosynthesis, which can contribute to a folate deficiency in the animal and is associated with an increased risk of spontaneous abortions. As such, breeding animals with this SNP might benefit from folate supplementation. So by using the individual's unique genetic makeup, GeneMeal Plus identifies any missing nutritional pieces and allows for the right supplementation methods to be precise, preventative, and supportive, taking the individual animal's diet to the next level. So to accomplish this, the proposed GeneMeal Plus model will have two testing options: precision nutrition and clinical supplementation. The precision nutrition package may help identify how an individual's unique genome may be impacting their nutritional status. After identification of any unique genetic variations, nutritionists can make recommendations for supplementation practices. The second package is designed with the recently diagnosed individual in mind and works with a veterinarian to help develop a diet catered for your individual animal. This allows for individualized and comprehensive supportive nutrition to be put in place as soon as a health issue has been identified. So let's go through some examples.
So say a dog owner notices their Labrador Retriever puppy has an unrelenting appetite. They worry about this excessive eating and decide to get a better understanding of why their dog is so hungry, or if they aren't maybe feeding the right products. They decide to purchase the Precision Nutrition DNA test. So upon arrival, the package consists of multiple brushed swabs and some information on how to complete the test, such as optimal time to swab and how to label the sample upon completion. The dog owner will be able to collect a sample by swabbing the inside of their dog's cheek. Once completed and properly set into uncontaminated packages, the sample can be shipped back to the return address, which is our testing facility. The DNA samples will be tested by multi-gene analysis and will be used to assess known markers and genes related to the nutrition to identify genetic variation, such as SNPs or larger structural changes. Once the results are determined, the owner will be given a copy. This may include individual or breed-specific markers or genetic disorders. So say our hypothetical owner has received an alert that their dog's results have been uploaded onto GeneMeal Plus website. Our geneticists and lab technicians have identified a gene mutation, more specifically a 14 base pair deletion mutation in the pro-opiomelanocortin gene. The POMC gene is associated with an increase in appetite and food motivation. This is also considered as a contributing factor to canine obesity, increased susceptibility to diabetes. The website will provide all of this information, and the owner, for a fee, can pay for a consultation with one of our nutritionists. And they have the option to subscribe for a dietary program best suited for their dog and the owner's own personal needs and desires. This may include supplements or full monthly plan and recipes. Now let's look at an example of the clinical supplementation option. So say a mixed breed dog with unknown heritage presents with recurrent inflammation of the urinary tract and frequent straining of urination. Upon examination by veterinarians, the dog was discovered to have cystine crystals and uroliths. Following treatment, the veterinarian suggests to the owner to take a genetic test to determine the cause of the frequent UTI. With the help of the veterinarian, the owners can either draw blood or complete the multiple swab test similar to that in the precision nutrition kit. The samples are then sent to our laboratory and analyzed by our geneticists. GeneMeal Plus geneticists have identified a mutation in the SLC3A1 gene. In the clinical supplementation option, our nutritionists can work with the pet's immediate veterinarian or consulting vet at our business to develop a meal plan or supplement that best suits the dog's needs in treating and preventing worsening symptoms. Similar to the precision nutrition option, the owner can also subscribe to receive monthly supplements or meal plans catered to the dog's needs. This plan can be adjusted following tests throughout the dog's life if changes are required. For example, in an SLC3A1 mutation, the owner would be encouraged to feed their dog a diet that is low in protein and has a controlled sodium level that helps maintain an appropriate urine pH.
Our mission statement and goal would be to increase overall health and wellness of individuals through nutrition catered to their own needs, while creating or adding to DNA and genotype database for companion animals each time an individual is tested. Our business would be able to work with professionals from different fields, such as veterinarians, nutritionists, geneticists, allowing owners to learn more about the importance of the diet and what best suits their pets. After receiving their pet's results, owners would be able to have the option to purchase or subscribe to recommended meal plans, approved treats, recipes, supplements, or even pre-made meals. Thank you.
Hi, our project is we'll be presenting is calculator for omega-3s in dogs and cats. And it's me, Francisco Poblano, and my teammates is Samantha and Jingling. Okay, so omega-3s present multiple or have been reported to have some different health benefits, which include anti-inflammatory purposes, effects they're also helpful for idiopathic lipidemia, for chronic kidney disease, cardiovascular disorders, and for osteoarthritis. Depending on the dose that they are prescribed or they are used for the patient, they can be helpful for those different disorders, as we can see in the graph on the left. So depending on which is our goal and what we're going to be using is the amount that we're going to have to be supplemented, we're going to be giving to an animal. As we can see there in the graph too, the ANSC, which is one of the which sets up some of the guidelines for formulation of diets for pets and other animals, recommends a minimum amount, and they also have a maximum amount of EPA and DHA. Most of the therapeutic doses that we'll be aiming for are in between those ranges. So, is it possible to have too much EPA and DHA? And the answer is yes. If we have too much of those fatty acids, we can patients can present altered platelet function, gastrointestinal adverse effects, they have some trouble gaining weight. They could present also an altered immune function or problems with healing wounds. Usually those side effects will only be presented if we're targeting doses higher than 370 milligrams per kilogram, and the ratio of omega-3s, omega-6 is under 1:1. So why is our product needed? It's just because most of the products in the market are targeted or are recommended to be on a non-harmed dose. This means the manufacturers, they just write on the label a dose that could potentially provide some help to that pet, but is mainly given, so there's no risk for them to have toxicities or to have side effects. So as we can see here in the graph, for the recommendation from 3 examples of different commercial products for omega-3s that have different concentrations of EPA and DHA, they still, even the highest ones that we found, they don't target enough for an anti-inflammatory dose, or at least not a therapeutic dose.
We have prepared an example for you to understand why is our product needed. So we have an 80-year-old male Newborn golden retriever who is 39 kilograms with a body condition score of 7 out of 9, mild muscle loss, chronic arthritis, and TPL down for the right side, and last blood work has showed he has a stage 2 chronic kidney disease, and he's eating Royal Canin mature constant large stock. And the first step is to calculate the ideal weight, and the second step is to calculate indicated dose for the patient, and CKD and inflammatory or arthritis. And the third step is to find omega-3 intake from the current diet. And the fourth step is to calculate amount to be supplemented. And the last step is to find the right supplement product and dosing. So I'll walk you through the calculations now. For our first step, which is calculating ideal body weight, we know that the golden retriever is 39 kilograms and has a body condition score of 7 out of 9, which means he has 30% body fat, leaving the lean tissue weight 30%. That times his weight gives us the lean tissue weight, which is 27.3 kilograms, and that makes his ideal body weight 34.1 kilograms. And the second step is to calculate the dosage based on conditions. In our example, the golden retriever needs 1,971 milligrams of EPA and DHA to help with chronic kidney diseases, and 4,364 milligrams to help with osteoarthritis. The third step is to calculate the amount of omega-3 intake from current food, and that can be found in the nutrition facts table on the food packaging. And in our example, the golden retriever obtained 1,792 milligrams per day from his diet. The fourth step is to calculate the amount to be supplemented, which is the total dosage, subtract the amount obtained from his diet, which is 178.3 milligrams for chronic disease treatment and 2,571 milligrams for osteoarthritis treatment. And the last step is to find the right product and correct the dosing. Similarly, the amount of omega-3 can be found in nutrition facts. And for this example, to treat his chronic kidney disease, he'll need 0.7 milliliters per day, and for osteoarthritis, he needs 10 milliliters per day.
So the goals of this project are to create an effective calculator for the omega-3 fatty acid requirements of companion animals, specifically for EPA and DHA, as they're very important to the pet's diets. This will save a lot of time for veterinarians and veterinary staff, as it'll enable them to quickly and accurately look at supplements for different issues without having to do it manually, having an app or a calculator to do it for them. It'll allow for the determination of safer upper limits and lower limits because they're considering the dietary intake and they're taking into account that specific animal, not just a general upper and lower recommendation for the species itself, but for the specific individual. And it'll provide effective supplemental options for omega-3 products with high concentrations of EPA and DHA. So our business plan is going to focus on developing an overall plan for this product over time that can be distributed to pet food companies and veterinary practices. For pet food manufacturers, they'd be contacted and asked for their dietary EPA and DHA compositions. There would obviously be a big incentive for them to do this and get on board with it, because then they would be able to have more people buying their products, obviously, which is a big incentive for them. And a membership can be purchased by individual veterinary hospitals, and a code can then be given by these hospitals to individual owners for their individual pet. So those people will be able to download the app and go and look at that information themselves, and we will get a portion of that, and so will the veterinary hospital. So the advantages of this, it's automatic and intuitive and very easy to use. As we know, almost everyone carries a smartphone with them, so you can have this in your pocket. It uses the body weight multiplied by 0.75 equation, which is the metabolic weight, which is more accurate than just being more generic and looking at the general body weight. And this does consider the dietary intake of the patient, especially if they're fed a veterinary therapeutic diet and the EPA DHA content of that diet is known. It's very useful for real-world scenarios where dog and cats require prescribed diets for specific health conditions, and for scenarios where you're in a vet clinic and you don't have a lot of time and you have a lot of appointments, and this is something that will help you use your time more effectively and give you an effective solution really quickly. And for branding, we went through a couple of different names, but we settled on the Omega Finder, pretty straightforward and easy to remember, and that is our logo. And this is a picture of what we want the app to look like. So we have our logo on the opening screen, then loading, and then people can sign up with their emails and their names and put in their pet's name. After that screen, they'll have the option to say whether they have a dog or a cat, what breed it is, their pet's weight in kilograms, the pet's age, their body condition. Then they can go into their medical history and whether or not they have any health problems. They'll talk about the food that their pet is currently eating, the amount of food that their pet is currently eating, and then the recommended serving size for that. And after that, it'll recommend the products for that specific animal. And then for their specific dietary needs and for their medical conditions, then it'll go into selecting a product for your pet's needs. You can click on that product, and then it'll tell you the recommended amount of that product for your individual pet. And those were references. Thank you for listening.